Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of Earth's diplomatic vessel, Humble Beginning, watching the crystalline spires of the galactic Concordat's capital station glitter against the backdrop of a violet nebula. The name of her ship had been chosen with careful irony, like everything else about this presentation. The Concordat had finally deigned to evaluate humanity's petition for membership after 3 years of bureaucratic delays. They expected to see primitives fumbling with rocket ships. Chen allowed herself a small smile, knowing what would unfold in the coming months. "Admiral, they're ready for us," Lieutenant Marcus Rivera announced from behind her. "The Concordat's High Council awaits in the Grand Chamber." Chen straightened her deliberately outdated uniform, its brass buttons gleaming dully compared to the luminescent garments worn by passing alien diplomats. "Time to give them exactly what they expect, Lieutenant." The Grand Chamber lived up to its name. Towering walls of living crystal pulsed with bioluminescent light, while representatives from 1,000 worlds occupied floating platforms arranged in concentric circles. At the chamber's heart, the Council of Five, the Concordat's supreme leadership, waited on their elevated dais. First Speaker Vorith, a being of pure plasma contained within an ornate containment field, addressed them first. "Humanity comes before us seeking membership in the Galactic Concordat. Show us why you believe you are ready to join galactic civilization." Chen activated the holographic projector, displaying Earth's most advanced warship, a nuclear-powered vessel that would have been impressive 2 centuries ago. The Earth Defense Force consists of 200 ships of this class. We use fusion drives for propulsion and tungsten-based kinetic weapons for defense. The chamber erupted in poorly concealed amusement. Second Speaker Tal, an entity composed of interconnected crystalline structures, chimed in with harmonics that translated as barely suppressed laughter. "Your vessels still rely on physical projectiles. Even the Proxima colonists have advanced beyond such primitive methods." Chen continued her presentation, meticulously displaying outdated technology and deliberately unimpressive capabilities. Each revelation prompted more dismissive responses from the assembled representatives. Only the fifth speaker, a being shrouded in darkness whose species was unknown even to Earth's intelligence, remained silent and watchful. "And these are your best achievements?" Third speaker Zixna questioned, their bioluminescent tendrils writhing with amusement. "Your ships would not survive a single engagement with even a basic pirate vessel. We believe our other qualities make up for our technological limitations," Chen responded, her voice carefully modulated to show the right mixture of pride and humility. "Humanity's adaptability. Adaptability will not save you from a quantum lance or protect your worlds from gravitational disruption weapons," fourth speaker Raxon interrupted, their mechanical body shifting with impatience. "The galaxy is a dangerous place, humans. Come back in a few centuries when you've mastered basic energy weaponry." Throughout the dismissal, Chen maintained her composed expression, even as her hand rested on the quantum-locked tablet in her pocket, a device so advanced that the Concordat's vaunted sensors registered it as simple plastic. Within it lay the real numbers, Earth's true fleet of 3,000 ships hidden in dimensional pocket space, powered by zero-point energy drives that made fusion look like steam engines. The fifth speaker finally stirred, their shadowed form leaning forward slightly. "There is something curious about humanity's presentation. A species capable of achieving fusion power should have developed energy weapons as a natural progression. Yet you chose a different path. Why?" Chen felt a moment of tension. The fifth speaker was dangerously perceptive. "We found our current technology adequate for our defense needs," she replied smoothly. "Though we hope to learn from the Concordat's greater experience." "The Council has heard enough," first speaker Vorith announced. "Humanity's petition for membership is denied. Return when you have advanced beyond throwing rocks in space." As laughter rippled through the chamber, Chen bowed respectfully and led her delegation out. Only once they were back aboard the Humble Beginning did she allow herself a genuine smile. She activated her quantum communicator, sending a single coded message, "Operation Cassandra is go. Phase 1 complete. The tablet in her pocket hummed with responses from Earth's real fleet commanders, hidden throughout the galaxy. Humanity had spent 50 years preparing for this moment, building in secret while maintaining a facade of technological backwardness. The Concordat's dismissal was the final piece they needed. Now no one would look too closely at the primitive humans and their movements. In her private cabin, Chen accessed the classified feeds showing Earth's true military capability. Quantum-cloaked shipyards in the Oort cloud churned out vessels that would make the Concordat's best technology look primitive. Dimensional generators more advanced than anything known in the galaxy hummed silently, waiting to be unveiled. Send the authorization to all fleet commanders, she instructed her AI assistant. Begin Phase 2 deployment. Let's show the galaxy why humanity chose to master space itself rather than waste time with energy weapons. As her ship made its seemingly slow way back to Earth, Chen thought about the shocked faces she would see in the Grand Chamber in 3 months' time. The galaxy thought humanity was primitive because they couldn't detect our ships or weapons. They never stopped to ask why they couldn't detect them. The real first contact was about to begin. The Raxan colony of New Horizon erupted into chaos as the raiders' ships dropped out of hyperspace. Their black hulls absorbed sensor scans like cosmic predators, while their weapon systems powered up with deadly intent. The colony's defense fleet, among the most advanced in the Concordat, moved to intercept. In her observation post disguised as a primitive trading outpost, Commander Maya Wilson watched the unfolding battle through quantum-enhanced sensors that no one in the Concordat knew existed. Her rustic station was supposedly monitoring agricultural shipments. In reality, it was one of hundreds of hidden human intelligence posts scattered throughout Concordat space. The raiders are using Darkweave technology, her second-in-command, Lieutenant James Chen, noted. Same signature as the attacks on the Vorith colonies last month. Maya nodded, her dark eyes tracking the battle with professional interest. And just like last month, the Concordat's energy weapons are barely scratching their shields. She tapped a few commands into her console, recording every detail of the raiders' attack patterns. The raiders had appeared 3 months after humanity's rejection from the Concordat. Their ships used technology that seemed to counter every Concordat advantage, absorbing energy weapons, bypassing quantum shields, and striking with weapons that ignored conventional defenses. The Concordat was baffled. Humanity knew exactly who they were. Distress call going out, James reported. New Horizon is requesting emergency assistance from all nearby Concordat forces. Maya's console lit up with a priority message from Fleet Command. The text scrolled across her neural implant, Operation Cassandra Phase 2 authorized. Minimal Intervention Protocol. Save the colony, maintain plausible deniability. Power up the defense grid, Maya ordered, a slight smile playing at her lips. Let's give them a taste of primitive human technology. Hidden beneath the station's outer hull, gravitometric disruptors, disguised as old-style communication arrays, hummed to life. The raiders wouldn't detect them. No one in the galaxy had figured out how to detect human quantum tech yet. That was the advantage of letting everyone think you were centuries behind them, they never looked for the impossible. As the raiders closed in on New Horizon's main settlement, Maya's station sent out a burst of focused gravitational waves. To any observers, it would appear that the raiders had simply suffered a catastrophic navigation error. 3 of their ships suddenly veered off course, their Darkweave hulls crumpling under forces they couldn't detect or resist. Oops, James deadpanned. Looks like they hit some sort of natural gravitational anomaly. How unfortunate. The remaining raiders pulled back, clearly confused by what had happened to their squad mates. The Concordat defense fleet, equally puzzled but eager to claim a victory, pressed their advantage. Maya watched as the raiders retreated, their seemingly invincible ships now showing signs of vulnerability to natural phenomena. Her quantum communicator pulsed with an incoming transmission from Admiral Chen. Report, Commander. Phase 2 proceeding as planned, Admiral. The raiders took the bait. Their darkweave technology is exactly what we expected, DRA carry origin, but modified. They still haven't figured out how to shield against gravimetric attacks. Good. The Concordat? Completely oblivious. They think they got lucky with a natural phenomenon. Their sensors can't detect our gravimetric grid. Excellent. Maintain observation. Let them attack 3 more colonies before we move to Phase 3. We need the Concordat desperate enough to ignore inconsistencies when we finally reveal ourselves. The transmission ended, and Maya turned back to watch New Horizons inhabitants celebrating their miraculous salvation. The Concordat representatives were already constructing theories about mysterious gravity waves and spatial anomalies. None of them wondered why these anomalies only affected the raiders, or why they only appeared near human trading posts. Message from New Horizons Governor, James announced. They're thanking us for our brave reporting of the attack and offering to upgrade our outdated communication systems as a reward. Maya laughed. Accept their offer. Let them install their advanced systems. It'll help maintain our cover. As she watched Concordat scientists scanning the area for traces of the gravitational anomaly that had saved them, Maya thought about the real reason humanity had never developed energy weapons. Why waste time with flashy beams of light when you could manipulate the fabric of space itself? While the Concordat had focused on bigger explosions and stronger shields, Earth had quietly mastered forces that most species didn't even know existed. 3 days later, Maya's intelligence report landed on desks throughout Earth's hidden command structure. The raiders would attack again, as planned. They were being manipulated as carefully as the Concordat, all pieces in humanity's long game. Every lucky defense, every natural phenomenon that saved a Concordat world, was another step toward the moment when Earth would reveal its true face to the galaxy. In her private quarters, Maya reviewed the classified files on the raiders' true identity. The DRA carry, a species that had vanished from known space centuries ago, had become the bogeyman of the galaxy. Their return was carefully orchestrated, their actions guided by human intelligence operatives who had infiltrated their ranks years ago. Every raid pushed the Concordat closer to the breaking point, closer to the moment when they would have to acknowledge that their dismissal of humanity had been their greatest mistake. New raid pattern analysis complete, James reported. They're learning to avoid gravimetric hotspots. Shall we adjust the grid? Maya nodded. Predictable. Shift the resonance frequencies. Let them think they're adapting. It's time to prepare for Phase 3. As she sent her daily update to Fleet Command, Maya reflected on the irony of their situation. The Concordat had rejected humanity for being too primitive, never realizing that what they saw as technological backwardness was actually careful misdirection. While they mocked Earth's kinetic weapons and nuclear drives, humanity had quietly become the most advanced civilization in known space. Soon, very soon, the galaxy would understand why humans smiled when they were underestimated. The real question was whether the Concordat would survive the revelation. Another distress call, James announced. The raiders are hitting the Zixna frontier worlds. Should we intervene? Maya checked her orders. No. Those colonies are designated as acceptable losses. The Concordat needs to feel true desperation before Phase 3 begins. Sometimes the best way to help someone is to let them fall. She turned back to her observation screens, watching as the galaxy's power structure began to crack under pressure it didn't understand. Humanity's path to prominence would be paved with the Concordat's shattered assumptions, and every dismissive laugh in that grand chamber would be answered with a demonstration of just how wrong they had been. The shadows in the void were growing deeper, and within them, humanity's true fleet waited for the signal to emerge. The galaxy's reckoning was approaching, one carefully orchestrated raid at a time. First Speaker Voritha's plasma form roiled with agitation as the emergency session of the Concordat Council convened. The Grand Chamber, once a place of orderly deliberation, now buzzed with panic and desperate proposals. 37 colonies had fallen to the raiders in the past month alone. The Darkweave ships are unstoppable, third speaker Zixna declared, their bioluminescence dimmed with fear. Our most advanced weapons are useless against them. Admiral Sarah Chen sat quietly in the human observation section, monitoring the chaos through quantum-enhanced senses that her hosts couldn't detect. The Concordat's mighty civilization was unraveling exactly as planned. Her neural implant pulsed with a priority message, Phase 3 authorized. Commence Operation Revelation. Perhaps, the fifth speaker's shadowed form suggested, we should consider evacuation of frontier worlds. Pull back to defensible positions. The chamber erupted in protests. Evacuation meant admission of defeat, the end of the Concordat's 1,000-year reign as the galaxy's supreme power. Chen smiled inwardly. They were ready. She stood, her movement drawing attention in the chaos. The Earth Trade Federation offers assistance to the Concordat. Laughter, though weaker than before, rippled through the chamber. Second speaker Tal's crystalline form vibrated with bitter amusement. What assistance could you possibly offer? Will you throw rocks at the Darkweave ships? We have observed pattern anomalies in the raiders' movements, Chen continued calmly. Our primitive sensors have detected inconsistencies in their attack strategies. The fifth speaker leaned forward. Explain. The raiders avoid certain sectors. Specifically, they never attack when human trading vessels are present. We believe. A priority alert cut through all communication channels. Darkweave fleet detected. Approaching Concordat Prime. Estimated arrival, 10 minutes. The chamber dissolved into panic. The raiders had never struck at the heart of Concordat space before. Chen activated her quantum communicator, broadcasting on frequencies no one in the chamber could detect. All fleet elements, execute revelation protocol. Authorization code, Humanity Ascendant. In the space around Concordat Prime, reality itself seemed to twist. Massive ships emerged from dimensional pockets that the Concordat's best sensors couldn't detect. Earth's true fleet, sleek vessels of impossible geometries powered by zero-point energy, took up defensive positions around the capital. The DRA carry were not destroyed centuries ago, Chen explained. They went into hiding, pursuing technological paths that the Concordat had forbidden. We found them 40 years ago, shared our own discoveries, and formed an alliance. The recent raids were a joint operation, carefully controlled demonstrations of power designed to expose weaknesses in Concordat defense doctrine. You used us as test subjects, fourth speaker Raxon's mechanical form vibrated with anger. We used controlled conflict to prevent uncontrolled war, Chen corrected. Better a few carefully orchestrated raids than the full-scale invasion the DRA carry originally planned. Sometimes the best way to prevent a war is to control a smaller conflict. The fifth speaker finally rose, their shadowed form seeming to absorb light. And now humanity emerges as the mediator between old enemies, the protector of former persecutors, and the power broker in a galaxy they supposedly just joined. A position carefully crafted over decades of patient preparation. Chen smiled. Would you have preferred we emerged as conquerors? We could have. Instead, we offer partnership. Equal partnership, not the hierarchy the Concordat has enforced for a millennium. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had orchestrated the most sophisticated political and military operation in galactic history, hidden an entire civilization's worth of advanced technology in plain sight, and emerged not as vengeful revolutionaries but as calculated reformers. The galaxy is changing, Chen continued. The old power structures, the old assumptions about technology and progress, they need to change with it. Earth offers its protection, its technology, and its partnership. All we ask is that you accept a new reality, one where humanity stands as equals, not supplicants. As the council debated the new terms, Chen's quantum communicator pulsed with updates from Earth's hidden network of agents and ships throughout the galaxy. Everything was proceeding according to plan. The chains of the old order were breaking, and in their place, a new galactic society would emerge, one shaped by humanity's patient hand. The fifth speaker approached her quietly during a recess. You never needed Concordat membership, they observed. This was always about reshaping the galaxy itself. Chen studied the shadowed figure thoughtfully. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, but our patience. We could have conquered, but we chose to guide. We could have destroyed, but we chose to rebuild. And those who resist this new order will find that humanity's apparent primitiveness was not our only deception, Chen replied softly. The galaxy needed to change. We simply provided the catalyst. As the council returned to session, Chen watched the representatives of 1,000 worlds grappling with their new reality. The chains of the old order were breaking, and humanity held the key to what would replace them. The real work was just beginning. Concordat Prime's crystalline spires glittered differently now, 6 months after humanity's revelation. Where once they had symbolized unchanging power, they now reflected the light of a transformed galaxy. Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the new Chamber of Cooperation, watching representatives from 100 species, including many that had been excluded under the old Concordat, prepare for the signing of the Galactic Charter. Humanity's grand deception is complete, the fifth speaker materialized beside her, their shadowed form somehow less mysterious than before. Though I suspect we still haven't seen your full hand. Chen smiled. Would you believe me if I said you had? Never. The fifth speaker's amusement was palpable. Your species plays the longest game I've ever witnessed. The chamber's quantum-enhanced displays showed real-time updates from across known space. Earth's dimensional technology had revolutionized transportation, while their gravimetric engineering was terraforming previously uninhabitable worlds. But it was the political transformation that truly reshaped the galaxy. The former Concordat worlds had been reorganized into an alliance of equals, with Earth serving as mediator rather than ruler. The Drakari had returned from exile, their advanced technology now guided by treaties that emphasized cooperation over competition. Even species long thought lost or extinct were emerging, drawn by humanity's promise of a genuinely balanced galaxy. You know, Chen said conversationally, there was a moment during my presentation 8 months ago when you almost caught us. You asked why we never developed energy weapons. I remembered something from ancient records, the fifth speaker admitted. Tales of a species that walked between dimensions, that shaped space itself. Most dismissed them as myths. The predecessors, Chen nodded. We found their ruins on Mars, hidden in dimensional pockets. Everything we achieved, our technology, our understanding of space-time, began with those discoveries. But we learned from their mistakes too. Their mistakes. They revealed themselves too soon. Tried to guide a galaxy that wasn't ready for their knowledge. It destroyed them. Chen's eyes tracked the movements of various delegates. We chose a different path. Hide our strength. Let others underestimate us. Wait until the galaxy was ready for change. The chamber's central platform activated, projecting a holographic map of known space. Hundreds of green dots represented Earth's hidden facilities, the ones they had allowed the Concordat to discover. Chen knew there were thousands more still undetected, waiting for the right moment to be revealed. The Galactic Charter is ready for final signatures, an aide announced. Chen watched as representatives from former enemies took their places around the signing table. The Drakari beside the Concordat species, emerging civilizations alongside ancient powers. Earth's delegation purposefully took a middle position, prominent but not dominant. You're still hiding something, the fifth speaker observed. This revelation, this restructuring, it's not your final move. There are threats coming that the old Concordat couldn't have faced, Chen admitted quietly. Things moving in the spaces between galaxies. The predecessors saw them coming, tried to prepare. They failed. We won't. The raids, the carefully orchestrated emergence of Earth's power. Practice, Chen confirmed. A test run for the real challenges ahead. We needed to know how the galaxy would react to sudden change, how different species would adapt to new paradigms. The results were instructive. As the signing ceremony began, Chen's quantum communicator pulsed with updates from Earth's deepest operations, the ones even most of her own government didn't know about. Preparations continuing in intergalactic space. Research into technologies that would make their current capabilities seem primitive. And monitoring of the threats slowly approaching from the void. Humanity doesn't want to rule the galaxy, Chen told the fifth speaker. We want to ensure there's a galaxy left to save when the real war begins. Everything we've done, the deception, the raids, the revelation, was about preparing for that future. And if some species aren't ready for this truth, then they'll continue to see what we want them to see. A humanity that emerged from primitiveness to become a stabilizing force in galactic politics. It's a comfortable narrative, isn't it? Much easier to accept than the reality that we've been guiding galactic civilization for 50 years, preparing for a war most species don't even know is coming. The signing ceremony concluded with applause and celebration. A new era of galactic cooperation was officially beginning. But in the spaces between dimensions, in the hidden facilities scattered throughout the galaxy, humanity continued its real work. The game they were playing was far longer, and the stakes far higher, than anyone suspected. A new dawn for the galaxy, the fifth speaker mused, watching the celebrations. Yes, Chen agreed, her hand unconsciously touching the quantum communicator that connected her to Earth's true operations. Let's hope we've prepared them well enough for the night that's coming. As delegates celebrated the new peace, Chen thought about the massive fleets hidden in dimensional pockets throughout intergalactic space, the weapons that could reshape reality itself, and the ancient warnings they'd found in the predecessors' ruins. The galaxy thought they'd seen humanity's true face at last, but they'd only glimpsed the surface of a far deeper ocean. The real revelation was still to come. But for now, let them celebrate this new dawn. The shadows could wait.